Hi, I'm Chris Boersma from Boersma Racing Team K-Tune here at Circuit Legends with Gridlife. I'm going to take you for a tour of our 1999 Honda Civic SiR. So here in the engine bay, we have a B18C engine with a turbocharger from Garrett. It's a G30-900. It's a pretty simple setup. It looks pretty crazy, but it's not as crazy as you think. It's a 1.8 liter sleeve block. Raymond Racing does our sleeves. Pistons, rods, SuperTech valve train, cams, nothing that you can't buy off the shelf. It's got a Unit 2 turbo manifold on it with the TPC thermal management system. Car can make a little bit over 700 wheel horsepower out of a 1.8 liter, which is pretty impressive. All of fabrication is done by Quaife Motorsports. So we have a 3.5-inch downpipe and exhaust, titanium, all from ARC Fabrications. It's dry sump, so we run a Unit 2. It's a billet oil pan with a Peterson 4-stage dry sump system. And the reason why we went to that, you can actually see off the head here, is a giant line. We used to have problems when we were running at really big tracks with oil getting stuck in the head. And so the only way that we can deal with that is we have a scavenge stage in the dry sump system that pulls the oil out of the head and puts it back into the pan. So that's actually been huge for us in kind of making the car more reliable. And then new for this year is we have a Quaife Sequential gearbox. So that was a new addition, which is really fun.
How long have you been on this platform?
I have owned this car since 1999. Okay. It has had a B18 in it since 2000.
It's the same B18 from 2000?
No, it's had a few rods go through it over its lifespan, so it's definitely not the original. So at the front of the car here, you can see it kind of still looks like a Civic, but it's actually a Jace drag front end. So it's one of their ultra front ends. It's a fiberglass piece with much wider fenders and front bumper. Guys have worked really hard to kind of fit the headlights and everything really nicely. We got some Spade Sport carbon ducts over the fenders to help with getting all the pressurized air out of the fenders out. And then basically the front end's just like a Garrett intercooler with a Mishimoto rad. We had a crash at the beginning of the season, and so we actually have a whole tubular structure now for the front. There's 2 pins basically that you pull, and the whole nose of the car basically comes off with the intercooler and the radiator all attached, which is really awesome. Again, the guys at Quaife Motorsports designed and kind of came up with all that, which has been awesome. So this is our new wheel setup that we have from the car for this weekend. It's a KONIG forged F3S, which is brand new. It's an 18x12. And basically we run it at a +10 offset. It allows us to run a 335 Nankang CRS tire, which is a lot of tire. And then behind all of that, we have Stoptech brakes and G-Lock brake pads. And then we run all the K-Tune suspension. So we're running their 3-way coilovers, digressive valves, all of their arms, basically, all spherical bearings, everything like that. But these wheels have been fantastic. They're light, they look great, and they're super strong. Over the rear, again, it's a off-the-shelf APR GT1000 wing, so it's a dual elements. We did our own kind of chassis mount aluminum plates that go right into the cage underneath the trunk. So it's nice and sturdy, not gonna go anywhere. And then it just has a simple diffuser underneath. We're not allowed to run flat floors or anything like that. So this is the business end of the car. This is my favorite spot. A lot of stuff going on here. So this is the sequential shifter. So it's got a strain gauge knob on it. So basically I just pull back and the car automatically flat shifts. It'll do auto-blip for us and everything with the drive-by-wire throttle body. We're running all Link electronics in the car. So it's a Link G4 Plus ECU. That takes care of all of our traction control, boost control, flat shifting, drive-by-wire. It's been an amazing platform for us. We run the AIM data logger with it with the Link ECU, which is great. We have a cool shirt system, which is my favorite addition for this year. You know, every year it just gets hotter and hotter. I'm getting older and older. Yeah, it gets to you more. So it's got a pumper system for the helmet as well as a shirt that I wear, which keeps me just cool in the pits. And I got my little control module for it, so I can turn the temperature up and down for both the helmet and the body independently, which is great. We run a full radio setup in the car. When I'm on track, basically, I can hit this button and talk back to the pits. Okay. It works all tracks, kind of from racing radios, and there hasn't been a track we've gone to where it hasn't worked. It's been fantastic. And then you'll see in here, there's also some air shocks that we use. The air shocks are basically for servicing the car. The whole car basically goes up a foot into the air and makes it easier for taking wheels off, for doing nut and bolt checks, things like that. Full fire suppression system. This is our Peterson dry sump tank. So there is 12 liters of oil in there. It's quite a bit, but it helps for sure. With the Unit 2 system, it's like constantly 80 PSI. I never have to worry about it, which has been great. It's a pretty simple fuel system in the car. In the back, it's a radium fuel surge tank with 2 Bosch 044s and a Walbro 255 lift pump. You can see the seat here has been kind of tubbed the floor. I'm a very tall individual.
Not tall.
I'm 6'3", and when I first started driving this car, my head was literally like the roll bar.
Seems like a really efficient setup in here.
It really is. It's a lot of stuff, but it's also a small car, and there's a lot going on in here. A lot of electronics, a lot of stuff.
How'd you get into motorsports?
My dad was into drag racing and got me into it when I was young. I started off with some VWs and then wound up getting this. And we went down the drag racing path, and then I got bored of drag racing and was looking to kind of get rid of the car, and we happened to stumble upon Time Attack. Local series was starting it, and it looked kind of cool. And so we took our drag car, didn't have a clue what the hell we were doing, and fell in love with it. And we've been doing it ever since 2008 now.
If you could give one tip to like someone like me that could want to get into Time Attack or wheel to wheel, what would that be?
Take your time. I think a lot of people make the mistake of trying to do too much too soon, and then you wind up with a car that is too much for your driving abilities. It's much better to come to events like Gridlife and do HPD and come with like a basically stock car and turn laps and get really comfortable, get driver coaching, and then start to improve. Put better brake pads in, better suspension mods, talk to people in the pits, see what you really need rather than just going online and buying all the parts first, coming to the track with like a 300 horsepower car and you're terrified of it and you're gonna have a really bad time. So that wraps up our car tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to thank all of our sponsors, primarily Levine Motorsports. So Eric and Greg are the 2 guys that basically work on this car 24/7. They get us ready for all the events. They do all the fabbing, tuning, unbelievable shop. We have K-Tune, who's our primary sponsor. You know, Garrett, who gives us our turbos. KONIG, obviously, who's giving us our amazing wheels. You know, we've been working with a lot of great partners for a long time. TPC, SuperTech. You know, we got a lot of people here who help us, Arc Fab, VP Racing Fuels. We couldn't do it without their support, and I really want to thank all of them. If you're interested in following along with our Time Attack journey, make sure that you follow us on Instagram or Facebook. It's @Boersma Racing. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a message. I'm always happy to respond and help people out. It's our favorite thing to do. Thank you.